In the quiet pursuit of justice, some names echo with clarity and grace. One such name, Justice Kempaiah Somasekhar. As he bids farewell to the bench, we pause to honor not just his service, but the soul behind the robe. Born on 15 September 1963 in the remote village of Budathetu, Yalandur Taluk of Chamarajanagar district, he came from a humble family. Though his parents were unfamiliar with the formal world of law and jurisprudence, they instilled in him virtues more enduring: discipline, simplicity, and sincerity, guiding his lifelong journey in public service. His journey into the world of justice began at Swami Vivekananda College of Law, Bangalore, where he completed his legal studies. Enrolled as an advocate on 27 January 1990, he began walking the path of justice in the courts of Mysore and Chamarajanagar, navigating both civil and criminal landscapes with deft understanding and unwavering ethics. On the 17th of June, 1998, destiny knocked louder. At the young age of 33, he stepped into judicial service as a district and sessions judge, carrying with him a solemn resolve to devote his life to the law and to the people it safeguards. Through every posting and every challenge, his family stood as his steadfast pillar. With grace, he balanced the solemn weight of the bench with the tender responsibilities of home. Their unconditional support became the unseen foundation of his service. In their togetherness, he found both solace and strength for the journey ahead. His journey crisscrossed Karnataka, from Bijapur to Bangalore, from the coastal wisdom of Karwar to the hills of Hassan. As principal, district, and sessions judge across districts, later in his career he was entrusted with key responsibilities at the High Court, serving as Registrar Judicial and Registrar Vigilance, and at times shouldering the additional charge of Registrar General. These experiences shaped his journey, teaching him that whether one sits in a Taluk court or on the High Court bench, the role remains the same: a humble servant of the Constitution. On 14 November 2016, Justice Somasekhar was elevated as an additional judge of the Karnataka High Court. In 2018, that role was confirmed, firmly placing him among the pillars of the judiciary. On 15 May 2025, the Supreme Court Collegium, led by Chief Justice Bhushan Ramkrishna Gabbai, recognized what many already knew, that Justice Somasekhar was ready for higher stewardship. The central government confirmed his appointment on the 20th of May. On 21st May, he arrived in Imphal, accompanied by the Registrar General of the High Court of Manipur, and was warmly received by members of the legal fraternity. On 22nd May 2025, at the Raj Bhavan in Manipur, he stood before the Honorable Governor Shri Ajay Kumar Bala and took the solemn oath of office. In that moment, he formally assumed the mantle of the 9th Chief Justice of the High Court of Manipur. A new dawn breaks, and with it, a chapter unfolds. Calm in his stride, steady in his purpose, he walks toward the chair that awaits him, not as a throne of power, but as a place of service. And so, the day begins, with the humility that has marked his journey and the resolve that will shape the days to come. In the days that followed, the calendar filled with purposeful steps. On 28 May 2025, he met with the High Court Bar Association, engaging in meaningful dialogue on the evolving needs of the legal fraternity. The very next day, 29th May, he sat with the High Court Employees Association, listening, understanding, and reaffirming his belief that the strength of justice lies in those who keep the system running. On 30th May, he was called upon by the Chief Secretary, where they engaged in discussions on matters aimed at bridging policy with everyday realities. True to his no-nonsense ethos and visionary approach, he embarked immediately on outreach, personally visiting district courts to assess infrastructure and service conditions. Embracing the motto, "Cleanliness is next to godliness," he standardized courtroom and chamber design, treating the halls of justice as sacred spaces. At every court he stepped into, there was a quiet message that justice is not confined to the walls of a courtroom. It must be alive in its practice. He listened to the voices of judicial officers, spoke with members of the bar, and acknowledged the tireless efforts of the staff. This was not just an inspection, it was an affirmation, a promise that the system would remain steadfast, transparent, and always in service of the people. He embodied judicial discipline, foregoing social indulgence to devote himself wholly to the service of law. His compassion extended beyond the courtroom. He visited relief camps for internally displaced persons. To families, he extended essential materials, a gesture of care amidst hardship. He listened to their grievances, assuring them that their voices were heard, their struggles acknowledged, and their dignity upheld. On the 20th June, he inaugurated the new meeting hall of Bar Council of Manipur, a space envisioned for collaboration and dialogue. On 7th July, he planted saplings during Van Mahotsav, leaving behind a legacy that would take root in the soil. The program was initiated by the High Court of Manipur in collaboration with the Manipur Forest Department. The occasion also saw the active participation of court staff, symbolizing a collective commitment to nurturing a greener and healthier tomorrow. On 12th July, he led a legal awareness program on arrest and detention, ensuring that the law reached the people it served. Further, he was called on by various law enforcement and security agencies, where the meeting went beyond a mere exchange of words, serving as a reaffirmation of trust and a strengthening of coordination among the guardians of law and order. Followed by discussions with Justice B.D. Agarwal, weaving threads of cooperation across institutions. The month's journey culminated on 26th and 27th July with Ukrul's inspection, training, and awareness programs, days where judicial service met community empowerment. It was a dialogue of trust, where the law reached out not just to govern, but to guide. In every interaction, justice found a human touch, weaving bonds between the courts and the community they serve. Justice K. Somasekhar visited the RKCS Art Gallery, a rich repository of Manipur culture and heritage. Touched by the brushstrokes that so vividly captured the history, traditions, and spirit of Manipur. On the morning of 15th August at the High Court of Manipur, he hoisted the national flag, which soared high with dignity in the open sky, marking the 79th Independence Day celebrations. The solemn strains of the national anthem filled the air, echoing through the court premises as officers, staff, and dignitaries stood in reverence. The moment was not just a ritual, but a reminder of the nation's hard-won freedom and the responsibility carried forward by every citizen.
The public's faith in itself throughout history, but it is also not a secret.
On the 23rd and 24th of August, a two-day state-level conference unfolded its focus: the NDPS Act, cybercrime, and the nation's 3 new criminal laws. Presiding as chief guest, he graced the occasion with quiet dignity, joined by judges and senior officials of the High Court of Manipur. On 28th August, he inaugurated the initiative to make the High Court complex a fully Wi-Fi-enabled campus. This will help advocates and litigants access the internet and make the High Court's e-portal faster and more reliable. Under his tenure, the people and bar of Chandel received their first district and sessions court, with a formal inauguration on 6 September 2025, a pivotal expansion of access to justice that not only brought the courts closer to the people, but also strengthened faith in the justice delivery system, ensuring that fairness and redress are no longer distant promises, but accessible realities. Kaching District also gained the creation of the post of District and Sessions Judge and Chief Judicial Magistrate, along with the supporting staff. When flash floods struck, he took cognizance and initiated a Suomoto PIL to monitor environmental hazards, forest clearances, and artificial obstructions, demonstrating proactive judicial leadership. Likewise, another Suomoto PIL targeted the perilous potholes and deteriorating roads, turning judicial attention to everyday civic concerns. He achieved a historic milestone by ensuring the appointment of the first district judge, cadre judicial officer, as secretary to the government, a reform that had been long overdue since 2013. In a pioneering step for health and well-being within the justice system, the High Court of Manipur marked a historic milestone with the simultaneous inauguration of medical dispensary units across all district court complexes in the state. At the Cherub Court Complex in Imphal, Honorable Chief Justice K. Somasekhar inaugurated the first unit in person while virtually unveiling similar facilities at 15 court complexes across the state. Throughout his career, he was known as a fearless, courageous judge, guided by the principle of live and let live. Gentle in demeanor, yet commanding in presence, he roared like a lion from the bench, delivering judgments and orders with remarkable swiftness and clarity. We honor not an end, but a glorious chapter that made justice human again, a legacy echoing in the halls of the court and in the hearts of those who believe in fairness. Guided by live and let live, he showed that law could breathe with understanding. Believing small is beautiful, he proved that justice lives in simple acts of integrity and compassion. Long after the lights dim, his clarity and humanity will continue to inspire. His spirit will endure as a guiding light for generations to come. Justice K. Somasekhar, thank you for your service, your wisdom, and your determined grace. The court may fall silent, but your voice will echo on. Like the timeless pledge of our great charter, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. May your journey remind us that the law is not only an institution, but a living promise to the people it serves. Where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake.